Well, hello and welcome back to Spa Marketing Made Easy. I am Daniela Warner. And if you have been putting off social media because the thought of filming content, of coming up with captions, of staying consistent with this ever increasing amount of content that we feel like needs to be posted, this episode is for you. So we're talking about something that I hear all the time. Spa owners will say to me, Daniela, I know I need to be on social media. I do not have the time. And honestly, I hate it. Listen, you do not have to love social media to make it work for your spa. You need to have the right systems. And that is exactly what we are diving into today. How to create social media content, how to create a plan, an editorial calendar that is not going to drain your energy, steal your time, or require you to be in front of the camera if that's not your thing. So we're going to talk about the tools that are the game changers for busy spa owners, how to leverage AI to do the heavy lifting, and my exact process for creating content cues, which are, you'll love these, that keep your social media presence consistent without the daily scramble. So let's go ahead and get into it. And this is coming from someone who has never been a big fan of social media. I don't use social media personally myself, although I deeply, deeply believe in the importance of it for a business. A couple of years ago, I uninstalled the apps from my phone. I felt that it just wasn't doing my mental health good to scroll through the feed. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of my energy. And I just didn't feel good after scrolling through. So I wanted to remove that from my life, even though I deeply, deeply believe in the importance of social media for brand awareness and communicating what you're about. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start by acknowledging why social media feels like such a burden for so many spa owners. And first, it's the consistency problem. Okay, so the algorithm is going to reward regular posting. We're talking about daily content across multiple platforms. And when you're already managing a team, handling client concerns, ordering product, trying to grow revenue, and you want to create engaging content to your daily to-do list, that feels impossible. You know, I was just on a call with some of our Growth Factor members, and I was asking them what it was specifically that was keeping them from doing a particular task. So was it time management? Was it, what was the particular thing? And as we kind of broke down this problem, broke down what was going on to understand what the true problem was, it's that they're not delegating. And that is a really, really important thing, especially when it comes to social content. And now with the tools that are available out there, we can lean on our teams. We can lean on AI to help us get these things done. And that's, again, what we're going to be talking about today. So the second reason that social media feels so hard is because there's a creative drain, right? There is such a thing as decision fatigue, and coming up with fresh ideas every single day can be exhausting. So you might post a before and after on Monday, and then Tuesday rolls around and you're staring at your phone thinking, what do I do now? And this can lead to the time suck factor, whether you're trying to figure out what to post and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to scroll through and see if I get any inspiration. And then you start responding to a comment, and then 20 minutes later, you're watching chicken videos. If you're me, right? Whatever is going on. When I was scrolling, it would always be like these homesteaders. And I was like, what just happened? I just lost an hour of my life and I didn't get anything done. I didn't get what I had set out to accomplish done. And social media does not have to be that way. So the spa owners who are winning at social media, and by winning, I mean actually generating revenue, actually generating an ROI because they're creating content that aligns with their ICA, because they have the proper tools in there like ManyChat that they're using to collect emails and to get appointments booked. These are the things that are so, so important. But these spa owners, they're not spending hours every day creating content. They're not glued to their phones. They are using systems. They're batching their content. They're leveraging tools to do the heavy lifting for them. Now, once you have these systems in place, social media shifts from a daily chore to being a marketing asset that works for you even when you're with clients, even when you're spending time with your family, even when, I dare say it, taking an actual vacation. So the key to building what I call an editorial calendar with evergreen content, and we have this like booked and busy blueprint that we use that really focuses on your entire online presence. But a piece of that is creating this editorial calendar with evergreen content cues. Okay. So we're going to break down how you do that today. So before we get into the actual tools, like the software that we're using, let's talk about strategy, right? We've got to understand what we're trying to do in the first place, because even the best scheduling software will not help you if you don't have a clear content plan. And in order to create a clear content plan, you've got to know who your ICA is. And when I say ICA, I'm talking about your ideal client avatar. I want you to get extremely granular with this process and understand who you are speaking to, who you are serving. All right. The more focused, the more intentional that you can get on the person that you are serving, the more that messaging is going to hit. And the more like brands they want to attract and repel, right? The brand that does everything is the brand that does nothing. So when we can speak directly to our editorial calendar, that messaging is going to hit a lot more. So when we are thinking about our content categories, there's 4 kind of main ones. And you can have more if it makes sense with your ICA, and you'll obviously adjust the messaging with your ICA. But your social media is going to accomplish different goals, right? So we're going to organize the content into categories that's going to make it easier to maintain a balance. So you want to have before and after pictures, and you want to have testimonials. These can kind of go in one category. So your before and afters are your credibility builders. They're going to show real results from real clients. They perform incredibly well because it's helping people to understand and see visual proof of your expertise. And don't just do your like slam dunks. You want to see what is a normal result, what is a great result, and what is an exceptional result. Okay. Because you're going to have some that are just like, wow, this is next level. And then you're going to have some just average. Show them all, right? That's going to, in my opinion, build a level of trust of what to expect. Okay. The next category is going to be educational posts. So these are going to position you as the expert. So the educational posts can be things like skincare tips. They can be explaining particular treatments or services. They can be ingredient breakdowns or product breakdowns. They can be myth busting. Educational content is going to help build brand awareness, build kind of your skincare philosophy. It's going to keep your audience engaged even when they're not ready to book, right? It is providing value to them, things that they're interested in. The next category is behind the scenes and overall brand awareness. So these are your trust builders, your team, your space, your process, the products that you use. It's going to really humanize your content and your brand. It's going to help potential clients and existing clients feel connected to you. Okay. And it will provide that level of familiarity for the potential clients who have not yet booked to see faces, right? People connect with people. Okay. So if you don't have any faces on your social media, they're not going to, it's just not as much of a connection as if they have someone that they can see. All right. And last but not least, in the kind of core 4 categories are promotional posts. These are your revenue drivers. So membership promotion, limited time offer, events announcements, new services or products. Okay. So don't be shy about these. Your audience needs to know how to work with you. Right? That you're running a business, not a charity. Okay. So we've got to put that out there and make the offer and allow them to book a service with us. Okay. So here is where the magic happens. So instead of scrambling to create content every single day, you are going to create 12 evergreen posts in each category. Okay. So you're going to go through, and if you want to do this over the course of a week, that's great. Block off an hour, find 12 before and after posts, find 12 or come up with 12 educational posts. Okay. And let me just zoom out here for a second, because what we want to do is make sure that we're clear on our ICA. We're clear on the most profitable service that aligns with our philosophy and also is what our ideal client wants. Okay. So what is our ICA asking for? Of those things, which of those services has the higher profit margin or highest profit margin? And then we are going to do educational posts around those particular things. So let's say that chemical peels is your thing. And so when I'm looking at educational posts, I might do 12 before and afters for chemical peels. I might do 12 educational posts about types of acids or contraindications or what to expect, or, things like that are specifically related to chemical peels. Behind the scenes could be actual setup for the peel, or your staff getting a peel themselves, or like a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 photo carousel that you can see what to expect after a peel. And then your promotional post, say you're doing a membership. So these 12 promotional posts would only be if you had an ongoing offer like a membership. If you are doing, monthly promotions, those are going to be created each month. But for your ongoing promotions or things that you would like to promote, if you have an e-com store or something like that, what are the things that can actually be evergreen? That's what we want to look at. Okay. So you're going to create 46 pieces of content. Pick 12 to do each day, right? To break it up into a smaller task. Those 48 pieces of content can cycle through your feed for months. Okay, that's 3 months worth of content posting once a day, right? Posting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you have a good mix already with that. Think about how you've cut at least half of the work. If you're going to post 7 days a week, you'll have 3 more additional posts that you need to create. But if you're just going to do Monday through Friday, then you only have 1 more post that you need to create each month, or each week, excuse me. So because they're evergreen and they're not tied to a specific date or event, they stay relevant. Okay. Now, research from Social Bee shows that businesses using content categories and evergreen cues are able to maintain consistent posting schedules with 73% less time spent on daily content creation. So once you have these 48 posts created, you're going to organize them with a scheduling tool. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But then they are going to automatically publish according to the scheduler that you set. So 1 post per day means that's nearly 2 posts of content, or 2 months worth of content ready to go. I would suggest that you push that out to 3, and you just spend time in that particular month creating 12 additional posts that are relevant to what is going on in that month. If it's Black Friday, if you're doing a particular event or something along those lines. Okay. So you're not starting from scratch every single time. All right. When you need to freshen up the content, you just add a new post to the appropriate category, and it's going to build up that queue. Imagine starting with this initial 12 posts, and then every time you're creating something, whenever it's actually something that can be evergreen, then you add it to the queue so that it will continually cycle through. And listen, people are not going to remember what you posted 3 months ago, let alone they may not even see it. There's such a small amount of people that follow you that actually see your content. The likelihood of them seeing a post that was posted 3 months ago is incredibly low. Okay. So this approach is going to give you the flexibility to add timely content like holiday promotions or last minute openings without disrupting your entire strategy. The evergreen content keeps things running in the background while you layer in the timely stuff as needed. And according to Asana's research on social media calendars, businesses that use this structured approach see 126% more lead growth than those who just post randomly. So create these 4 content categories, develop 12 evergreen posts in each category, and then load them into your scheduling system. That's the foundation, okay? So now let's talk about the tools that are going to make your life so much easier. And I'm going to walk you through my exact tech stack of what we use and how we use it. So we use SocialBee for scheduling. And SocialBee for us, we actually invested in this product. We got a Black Friday lifetime offer, which was incredible years and years ago. And so we've had this tool that is working, works incredibly well for us. It's, here's why I love it. Okay. So it has the ability to create different categories that you can do around, like you can do a before and after category. You can do a promotional category. You can do an educational category, and you can even get them more granular than that. But so you're putting all of your educational posts, all of your before and afters. And if you schedule them, if I wanted to do before and afters on Monday and Friday, I can just, let's say that you have a ton of them. Instead of 12, if you want to add 24 and you put that content category on Monday and you also put that content category on Friday, it's going to scroll through, and Monday and Friday will be 2 different posts, right? But it's going to scroll through that entire category. So you just have a lot of opportunity when you're going through and scheduling. Okay. And here's what I love. Remember how I said I am not someone who wants to go on the app and scroll. I do like to engage with our followers, though. I do like to engage with the people who message us or the people who comment. And here's the thing that's really cool is you can actually respond directly in SocialBee. So I don't have to go on to Instagram. I can comment directly in the app. I can see on any one of my platforms, if someone commented on LinkedIn or if someone commented on Facebook or on Instagram, it all shows up there. So I don't have to scroll through different platforms to understand who's commenting where. I go directly in SocialBee and can comment there. All right. Which is amazing. There's also this feature called Requeue. And so that is what we're talking about, where if I want something to repost, I can do that. I can also, if I have something that's very specific, if it's peel season or if it's Black Friday or if you're running a holiday promotion and you want something to post at a specific time and not requeue, you can still use it in the scheduler. You just don't hit that requeue button. You put schedule at a particular time and what that is, and then it'll post once and not requeue. Okay. You also have the ability to have it requeue and then end at a particular time. So there's a lot that you can do with this. The pricing is very reasonable. I believe their plans start around $29 a month. I also believe they have a 14-day free trial. We are not an affiliate with them. We have no connection with them any way, shape, or form, except for the fact that we use it. So tool number 2, I want to talk about AI. So the AI tools that we are currently using in terms of copy, we use ChatGPT, we use Claude, and we use Cintra. And they're all slightly different. Okay, so you can decide. I think for social, I really enjoy Claude the most. I feel like Claude is able to get our brand voice the most. And Claude has chats and also has projects. So if you think of projects as being sort of like a custom GPT that you would do in ChatGPT, the chats are just kind of random questions. But when you're training a custom project or creating a custom project, it can be, copy for Instagram. And what I love about that, and I have done, I like to create content that will be for Instagram, take that and how do I refine it for LinkedIn? Take that and how do I refine it for Facebook? I've done it all in the same project inside of Claude. It's really easy to be able to do it. So it doesn't have to just be a project for Instagram, although you could create everything in Instagram, copy that and put it in your LinkedIn project and say, put all of this in LinkedIn. Okay. But the thing is, it's very, very easy to customize. Cintra is all these, they kind of look like these little Teletubbies. I don't know what, there's like 12 or 16 little dudes, and they essentially will have different areas of focus. So you have someone for social, you have someone for business development, virtual assistants. There's a lot of things that they can do. And I have tended to use them more for like SEO optimization or understanding like a structure within prompts that I want to use. So there's a lot of, there's little things. I would say I probably use Cintra the least between ChatGPT and Claude, but I still find it valuable enough to keep. All right. So if I'm doing a larger project or if I'm doing SOPs, I prefer ChatGPT. So I think about, depending on what you're using it for the sake of this episode, we're talking about social media. Claude is where I would dial in on. Okay. And Claude is still really inexpensive. I think the paid version is about $200 a year. So if you think about what would it cost you to have a copywriter, not $200 a year. And so that's really, really helpful. We also use Canva. And Canva has a lot of AI tools in the paid version. Okay. So they have Magic Design, and that's going to generate complete social media graphics just from a text prompt. So you type in what you want, and Canva creates several layouts for you to choose from. Magic Edit allows you to modify photos with text prompts. So if you want to change the background of a treatment room photo, you can just say, you can just select the background type that you want instead. And Canva's AI will replace it while keeping everything else intact, if that makes sense. Magic Grab allows you to move subjects in a photo. So if you took a great shot of a client, but they're positioned awkwardly in a frame, you can click on them, drag them to a better spot, and AI will fill in the background naturally. Background Remover, this is probably what I use the most. So one click, Canva removes the entire background from any image. So if you've seen those images where it just is like me standing against our rose color background, that's Magic or Background Remover. Magic Write is going to generate text for your designs like headlines, taglines, or social captions right in the editor. And this is really cool. I have not used this feature yet because I am so used to doing it a certain way. But Canva integrates directly with Social Bee. So you can design your graphics inside of Canva and schedule them in Social Bee without ever leaving one platform to jump to the other. Okay. So Canva has a free version, but I highly recommend the Pro plan. It's $12.99 a month. That is going to unlock all of the AI features, and it is worth every single penny. Nano Banana is another software that's really good with stock images. This is AI derived. You basically can upload a photo and just say, change the background, or create a generic image of a spa treatment room. And you can say, add warm glowing candles to the counter, or make the lighting softer or more relaxing, right? So Nano Banana is going to do all of that for you. So you can remove unwanted objects from photos. You can remove backgrounds. You can change colors. You can change styles. It's going to maintain the character and consistency across images, which is perfect if you're creating like a series of photos that you want to have a cohesive look. So especially like if you're going to create those 12 before and after photos and you want something, well, not the specifically before and after, but the 12 in each category, if you want them to be all consistent, it's cool to use a software like that. All right. HeyGen. This is for AI avatars. I have not taken this leap. This still is a little bit spooky wooky for me. I'm still a bit concerned with some privacy things around these, and in terms of like, if I create an AI avatar, who has ownership of that? Can other people generate an AI avatar of me if I have uploaded up there and then make me say different things online? Those are things that I am not yet totally comfortable with. However, plenty of people are. And if you are camera shy, I know Coach M, she created an avatar for herself, and she, was very clear and very upfront that this is her AI avatar, and it's her likeness, her image, and she's creating the content that her avatar is saying. She's trained it on her voice, but it's something that she can just type in the video that she wants created, and she can have hundreds of videos in minutes, right? It's unbelievable. Okay. So if you are a spa owner who you're like, hey, I need to film video content, but I just don't want to film it myself, or I don't have the time, you can create educational videos. You can film promotional videos. You can make FAQ videos. You can do behind the scenes videos. I mean, there's so many different things. And HeyGen supports 175 languages and dialects. So if you have, a large Spanish speaking population or any other type of language that you wanted to create videos in both languages, you can absolutely do that. Okay. So again, most of these softwares, there's a free plan, there's a paid plan. Video obviously performs very well on social media. It gets more engagement than static post, but it's also the type of content that is like, takes the most time to create and the type that most of us avoid creating. So HeyGen solves that problem by removing the barriers of filming, editing, and being on camera. Okay. But just be sure, if you're going to get into any of these AI, a lot of the social media platforms will require you to disclose that this is AI generated content, and also ensure that you know the appropriate privacy and what you're giving permission for when you are going ahead and creating these avatars. Okay. Okay. So, and then ManyChat is our last tool. I believe, as I said earlier, that social media should be giving you an ROI on everything that you are creating, the time and dollar amount that you're investing in social media. You should be getting an ROI on that. And ManyChat is an incredible tool that, if you've seen those, like, comment me and I'll send you this, that's an automated piece of software that you can use to get people different tools. So you can give them a blog post. You can give them, you can invite them in to get a consultation. You can use it to collect emails. There's a lot of things that you can do with these different pieces of software. All right, so now that you know the tools that we are using specifically, I want to walk you through the exact process for creating social media content in just a few hours. Okay. So before you touch any of the tools, ask yourself, what do I want my social media to accomplish? What does my ideal client need to see before they book? What objections or questions do I need to address? And then you've got to decide on your categories. So we had mentioned before the before and afters, which are going to be your social proof. We talked about educational posts, which are going to be kind of your expertise and your trust. We've talked about behind the scenes, so brand connection, brand awareness. And we talked about promotional posts, which are going to be revenue and list building, right? So again, you can adjust these based on your business. You might have client testimonials, you might have product spotlight. I kind of think that those client testimonials would go into before and after, or product spotlight would go into educational, but whatever makes sense for you, you just keep that simple and sustainable. Okay. So now it's time to create your content. And the biggest heavy lifting is the initial time when you're creating those groups of 12. Okay. So give yourself a couple of hours, put it on the calendar like you would any other business task, and then really identify, like, what do I need to do to hold this commitment to myself? Because I know that if I do this now, this is going to save me so much time in the long run. Okay. So really commit to getting this done. All right. Then we're going to batch create your captions. And I am not a great context switcher. So when I am going through and doing captions, I will do all of my before and afters. I will do all of my educational posts. I will do all of my promotional posts. I'm just kind of getting in a flow. Okay. So you will put in your prompt. We have a very specific prompting strategy where we're including our ICA, we're including our company bio. We want to create content. We want to get really honed in on our messaging. So you're going to give direction in the prompt. Say, here's who I am and here's who we're serving. And I want the post to be 150 words. I want a hook in the sentence. I want it to end with a question. I want it to encourage engagement. So you're putting all these different things in there. You could say topics could include retinol, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, sunscreen, chemical peels, microneedling, LED, hydration, exfoliation, like whatever it is that are things that are going to make sense for your practice. And Claude, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using can do that in like a minute. I mean, it is incredible how quickly those things can happen. Okay. So you want to never go with the first answer. I always have it refine. I always, I'm giving it feedback of how to make it sound more like me. I hate dashes. And so I put in the rules, don't use dashes. These are the emojis that I like to use. Sometimes I write in all capitals. Here, I'm like giving it these directions to make it really sound like the way that I would speak and engage authentically. Okay. So once you have the captions all done, then you go over to Canva. I open up one new document. So if it's Instagram, I'll open up an Instagram post and then I just I'll do add a new page, add a new page, add a new page. So I'm creating 12 image graphics on one piece of, one open Canva. And how you can label them, I'll put like evergreen post 1, evergreen post 2, evergreen post 3, something like that. Okay. The thing with ManyChat is that it has to be associated with a particular post. And so if you're putting it in Social Bee and when it's going to come up, which you have to make sure that you're scheduling to go into ManyChat and add that post to that particular funnel. So for this reason, I never put ManyChat posts in the queue. I always schedule them at a specific time. And then I add a little note on my calendar to make sure that I go in and connect that particular ManyChat funnel with that particular post. And we're just duplicating it so that the previous post will still work, right? We're not going to change the other ones if you use ManyChat, that makes sense. Okay. Then you're going to load everything into Social Bee. So you're going to schedule it. You're going to decide if you are going to put this in the queue or if it's going to be a one-time scheduler. You can decide how frequently, am I going to do before and afters twice a week? Am I going to do educational twice a week? Am I going to do behind the scenes twice a week? However I want to do that, right? You're going to decide what makes the most sense for your business. And once you set the schedule, Social Bee is automatically going to pull from your content categories, publish the post according to the schedule that you defined. And again, if you hit that re-queue feature, the evergreen cycle is going to continue back through. So even if you have a crazy week and something comes up, it's just going to repost, right? So it's going to give you that kind of cushion or that ease of mind that you are still good. All right. Now, I also batch my engagement time. I actually have a line on my calendar that's 15 minutes that says social engagement. And so because you can go directly into the Social Bee app, I can be commenting on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, all at the same time without, switching windows or anything like that. And that is going to save you from going down some crazy rabbit hole. Okay. It's going to save your time. You can have 15 minutes that you can go in, you can respond. It can actually be you, right? Which I think is really important. And again, you're not getting sucked into some vortex where you're going to end up watching chicken videos. All right. So consistency is going to win. But again, consistency doesn't mean that you have to be online every single day. The system that we've talked about today, the editorial calendars, the evergreen content queues, the scheduling tools, obviously AI is huge. These are going to allow you to show up consistently without the daily grind. Okay. So research shows that if you are the businesses that post daily see a significantly higher engagement than those who post sporadically. But that doesn't mean that you physically have to be the one going in and posting every single day. Okay. That is what automation is for. That is working smarter, not harder. So once your content is scheduled in Social Bee, it publishes automatically. You don't have to remember, you don't have to scramble, it just happens. Okay. So this is such a powerful, powerful thing to get this off of your plate. Think about how that would feel, right? You're going to have time to do the real CEO work, time to whatever's been piling up, whatever's been on that shelf that you've been wanting to get through. The power of systems will give you the freedom to live the life you want to live. Okay. Now, this approach is also going to give you flexibility, right? So if you have a last minute promotion or a client cancels or you have an opening, you can still create that one-off post and schedule it immediately. Your evergreen content keeps running in the background, but you have the freedom to add timely content as needed. So remember that perfection is the enemy of progress. Your first batch doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. Okay. And as you get more and more comfortable with this system, you'll refine your process, you'll improve your captions, you'll develop a stronger sense of what is actually resonating with your ICA. But you can't optimize what doesn't exist. So you've got to just start. Create those 48 posts, load them into Social Bee, and let the system work. Okay, so social media does not have to be the thing you dread. This is how you do social media as a spa owner, even when you hate social media. All right. So I want you to choose your scheduling tool. We recommend Social Bee, but find one that works for you. There's a whole bunch out there, and they are life-changing. Start with a free trial, test it out, see if it makes sense. Define your content categories. I would definitely recommend before and afters, educational, behind the scenes, and promotional, but adjust those in the way that you want. Set aside a block of time, 2-3 hours, see how fast you're able to move. Use ChatGPT, use Claude, refine your post. Make sure that you're not just taking the immediate first thing that AI pumps out, refine it, and get those posts created and scheduled. Okay. And then batch your engagement time. Maybe do 15 minutes 3 times a week. But you can also, if you have a team, you can delegate some of this engagement as well. And when you have it all in Social Bee, that they're logging in to communicate, it is all coming from you, right? From your company, from your spa. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I do have a quick favor to ask. We are really focusing on our reviews. So if you have been enjoying the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast, if you're getting value from these episodes, could you please take 30 seconds and leave us a review? It makes a massive difference because when you leave a review, it helps other spa owners discover the show, and a rising tide floats all boats. Every time someone finds this new podcast and gets the strategies that they know that they need to grow their business, it is a win for our entire industry. So whether you're listening on Apple or on Spotify, scroll down, tap that 5-star rating, give us a quick review. Tell us what you loved about the episode, what's been most helpful for you. I do read every single review. I am so appreciative of you taking the time, and it means the world. Okay. As always, we keep this conversation going over in the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. Head over there if you are not in there already. We've got a link below this episode. And that is it for today. So just remember that social media does not have to steal your time, drain your energy. With the right systems, with a solid editorial calendar, with evergreen content cues, AI tools, scheduling platforms, right? You can show up consistently without the daily scramble. So take action this week, batch that content, set up the schedule, and let your social media work for you instead of demanding your constant attention. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.